Welcome to Not From Here, a podcast dedicated to past versions of ourselves
and the current versions of all of you. We are your co-hosts. I'm Riley Klauza.
And I am Isa Rodriguez. And we are just a couple of Michiganders turned New Yorkers trying to get a grip.
Have you ever been made fun of for the way you say things or thought, damn, I never even realized I had an accent?
Well, we have too, because we're definitely
not from here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Slay.
Hey.
So cute. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. Who's with us?
I'm Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Welcome to Not From Here.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Oh
for
my
sitting
gosh.
down with us
Excited to
today.
be here.
We're pumped to have you.
This episode has been a long time coming. I've been telling, since I started taking classes with you, I've been telling Isa, like, no, Jane has to come on the podcast. Jane has to come on the podcast. You have no idea.
No, I met her and I told her, I was like, you have no idea how much I've heard about you. Like, you have been hyped up so much, so I can't wait to hear about you.
I'm so excited to meet you.
I would like send her like your TikToks and stuff and be like, see, like this is what we need.
Perfect guest. So here we are. We've made it happen, thankfully.
How was your weekend, Jane?
My weekend was great. It was what I do on Grant and I went out on Friday.
Lovely.
Like bar hopped a little bit.
Ooh.
Saturday I did nothing, which was amazing. And then Sunday I took that cooking class, which was so much fun.
That's so fun.
Such a great weekend.
And
Wow.
how was the weather here this weekend?
It was good.
Windy?
Like windy.
feel like windy,
I feel like
yeah.
Saturday was kind of gross. I did nothing
Yeah.
Saturday as well.
It rained.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, I just stayed on the couch all day.
I'm kind of surprised because it's so hot today.
No, it's supposed to be so nice all week.
Noon and it's 77
Yeah.
degrees out.
I was like,
It's
do I need a
summer.
coat? No. No.
I wore this on the way here, and then like literally halfway walking, I was like, I need to take this off. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be so sweaty.
It is rough.
Spring
Spring has sprung.
It has.
It has.
We skipped
thankfully.
actually. It's summer.
It's summer.
No spring.
No spring.
Love global
Okay,
warming.
Jane, we want to hear everything about you. Your background, how you got here. So let's start. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Ooh.
That's where I grew up. My parents are kind of from all over the place. So my mom was born in New Jersey. My dad's from Virginia. And then they lived in California for a little bit. So I feel like we have a lot of like
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah.
But I've been in North Carolina my whole life.
Wow.
Love. How was that? Did you love North Carolina? Were you happy to
Loved.
leave? Oh, okay.
Loved North Carolina.
Amazing.
Yeah, I lived in Raleigh, which is like smack dab in the middle. So it's like 3 hours to the beach, 3 hours to the mountains. It was like the perfect place to grow up. There was just so much to do, and like
yeah.
it's just enough of a city where you get exposed to things, and like you're not. I don't know, like we had theater and we had like so much like city life going on, but it was not unsafe. Like I never felt unsafe being out alone, like anything like that. So I feel like it
Yeah.
was such a great place to like get a really nice, well-rounded
Yeah.
childhood.
I've heard great things about Raleigh.
Yeah.
So
I love Raleigh.
yeah. So where did you go to school? Did you also go to school in North Carolina, or did you venture out a little?
Nope. So I went to East Carolina University,
Okay.
Greenville, North Carolina, which is 20 minutes from Farmville, North Carolina. If that tells you
Ooh.
anything about where we were.
That's
That's where I was.
okay. And what did you study there?
So I was a theater arts major, and then I had a double
I
concentration.
did not know that.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Double concentration in musical theater and professional acting.
What?
Yeah.
I was like, I think Jane's done theater. You
Yep.
fully majored in it.
Yeah, fully majored in it. But I like went to school for performing, and then probably like halfway through was like, I don't know if I really want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it just I don't know, like the lifestyle I didn't really love. I felt like I'm not great in competitive places. Like I'm just not, I don't know, I don't like it. It makes me really stressed and anxious, and I
Yeah.
just like, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
So then like halfway through school, I was like, okay, maybe I want to like direct or something. So I kind of started getting into that, and I was like, I don't know, it's a lot of work. So I was like, we need to figure something else out. And so somebody before me, I guess like my sophomore year, they started this production company. It was a student-run production company because our school was only doing like Oklahoma, like really old shows.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we need to do something updated if we're gonna
Yeah.
work professionally. And so they started this student-run production company called Fifth Street Players. And my junior year, I came on as the associate producer. Could not remember that word for a second. I was like, what is that word?
Just
associate producer. And then senior year did the executive producing.
Oh my God.
And that was where I like got my first taste in business and was just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I believe when we left, the school actually absorbed it and like took it over and started doing like black box shows with it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is
Love
incredible.
black box
Yeah,
shows.
it was really fun. And like, yeah, it was like a full-on business. Like we made profit, we put on shows, like we did the whole thing. It was, we fundraised for it. Like it was great.
Girl bossing since day one.
And yeah, that's when I was like, okay, I don't need to like, I can get everything that I want from theater, but not necessarily like work in
Totally.
theater.
And that's like the great thing about the arts is like it is so broad that you
Yeah.
can really connect it to like anything.
Yeah, totally.
100%. So tell us a little bit about how you got here. Did you always know that you wanted to come to New York? Was it more of like in college, like, I don't know, I'm changing, but I'm still going to go? Like, what was your journey with that?
I was definitely like drawn to New York, I would say. But after school, I actually got hired to work as a singer in a resort. So
Oh my God.
Learning so much
So
about
much.
Jane.
I was also a mermaid at this resort, which I'll show you
This makes
videos
sense.
later.
Thank God.
Literally, so just the silliest job I've ever had. Like that was my breaking point. That's when I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm not. This isn't it.
No. So I really wanted to get out of North Carolina. So I took this job. It was in the Florida Keys. So I worked on Duck Key, if you are familiar with the Keys. It's like
little.
halfway
Yeah.
down. So I worked there for probably like 5 months. And then I was like, I cannot. And it wasn't like a contract. It was just like a full-time open-ended job. So
Yeah, that is rough.
Yeah.
So I left. And then I
Okay.
moved back home to North Carolina. And I got my personal training certification because I didn't know what else to do with my time.
Yeah.
And I liked working out, but I didn't really think I was going to be a trainer necessarily. So I got my certification because I was just like really lost in the gym. And my friends had all moved up to New York. Like all my friends from school lived here. So I was like, you know what? I already have a friend group. Someone has an apartment with an open room. Like, I'll just go move to New York and then I'll figure it out from there.
Yeah.
So then I ended up moving up here, and then I got a job at Equinox. That was like the first
Slay.
personal training job that I had. And the rest, is history. And now I'm here.
Oh my God.
Wow. So that seems like a pretty natural transition to the city, right? But I feel like a lot of people do that. Like they just kind of show up and they're like, all right, let's see what happens.
I'll figure it out. Yeah.
That's pretty much what we did,
Yeah.
kind of, you know?
No, totally. How was the transition for you?
It was pretty easy. My Will, who you know,
Will.
who's one of my best friends from college, he's the one that I moved in with. So it was
my
me, Will, and then one
God.
of Will's friends. And so it was nice because he had already been here for maybe like 6 or 8 months before I was.
Okay.
So he already knew the ropes. He like picked me up from like the bus stop when I first
my
got here.
God.
Like he really showed me around. And so, yeah, I feel like I settled in really quickly because I had so many friends who were already here.
That's
That
so
is
nice.
so great. Yeah.
I call those friends like guiding friends when you
Yes.
get to the city.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everybody needs one to just
Oh,
follow
yeah.
and be
Yeah.
like, what do I do?
Like, I don't know how to work the
Teach
subway.
me.
I need help. Like,
Please, God help me. Okay, so do you have any like horror stories from your time here, like right when you moved? Do you have any now that you've been here for a little longer?
I have a really I feel like everyone has like a bad train story. Mine are like not funny, so we're gonna skip those. But I do have one.
You're like, they're just awful.
They are horrible. I was like scarred.
Oh my
like
God.
we're good now. We've been past it. We went to therapy. But so my first apartment that I actually signed a lease on, so not the one that I moved here in, but
Okay.
me, Will, and a friend of ours, we all moved into this apartment that was on a 5th floor walk up. Our super lived on the 1st floor.
Okay.
Live in
Okay.
super. Love that for us.
Yeah.
Not when you live on a 5th floor walk up though, because our super did not want to go upstairs. So
You're like, I don't either. But
I had actually moved in with us, which is my husband, if you don't know.
Oh.
So he moved in with us. So it was like the 4 of us in this 3-bedroom apartment. And we like woke up one morning or one night, like in the middle of the night, because I just hear this dripping sound. And I turn on the lights and our ceiling is leaking. And so I'm like, it's the middle of the night.
Are you like the
cannot deal
top of
with
the building
this.
too?
Oh yeah. And so I get a big pot and I just put it under there, and then I'm like, let's take the mattress into the living room because I'm not sleeping in here. So
Yeah.
we moved the mattress into the living room, slept on our mattress on the floor, and woke up the next day and it had gotten so much worse. And so we called the super and he's like, yeah, I'll come today, whatever. Never shows up. We called him every day for like 3 weeks and he just like would not
climb
up
those
the stairs. And I get it, but like my ceiling is leaking.
And that is your job. Like,
Literally.
And that is your job.
And you live downstairs.
like that is the whole reason you're
it
here.
could be so much worse. You'd have to take.
Oh,
you
yeah.
could take a train, have to walk up the stairs, but you live downstairs.
No, we had like a light out on our floor too, like in the stairs, and
Yeah.
he would not come change it, so it was just dark until we walked down one flight of stairs. Like, he really didn't want to come upstairs. But I actually moved out of that apartment. Grant and I moved out, and somebody moved into my room. And when they finished up their lease a year later, I was talking to Will about it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, like, did you ever get the ceiling fixed?" Kind of kidding, and he was like, "No."
But no, still to this day,
It
it's
is
leaking.
still leaking. Yeah, like every time it rains, it leaks.
Oh my God.
Oh, that is just like one of those things that's like only in New York would that just happen
so
for
much
years.
money,
I
right?
know.
It's horrible.
Okay, I'm gonna go improv for just a second
Do it.
because I'm curious. So your husband Grant, were you guys dating when you moved here?
Yes, so we met in college. He's a year younger than I am, but
Oh,
he,
Oh,
Slay.
okay, older
he
woman.
Also, he also went to school for acting. So that's good that he was a year younger because we
Yeah.
didn't have any classes together.
Yeah.
Fair.
But yeah, so we met in college, and then I guess I knew him for like 2.5 years before we actually started dating.
Okay.
And then when he graduated, he was actually going to move to LA.
Oh.
That was his
Oh,
plan. So
wow.
he moved home after school, saved a bunch of money, and he was planning to move to LA. And then
And
a
he's
few
from
weeks
Michigan.
before-
I
he's
just
from Michigan.
remembered.
He's from Battle Creek.
I know.
No way.
Yes. So I'm like a Lions fan now because I didn't care about sports before I started.
Invisible string. This one.
And so then he was going to move to LA, and then basically he's just like, I don't want to go. I don't want to move out there.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, come move in with me. It'll be fun. We'll live in
Yeah.
a little tiny room and share a closet. And so we moved up here.
Wow.
Good.
I love that.
I'm
No one
obsessed.
asked, but I also moved here with my boyfriend. So I'm always so curious when I hear of other couples that like moved here
Yeah.
together and
Did you
are
immediately move in
still
together?
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had 2 other roommates, so it was less like intense.
Yeah.
And I kind of forced that on everyone. Apologies to all my friends and Cameron.
It makes your rent super cheap.
It was brilliant in our
Yeah.
apartment.
Their apartment was insane.
2-floor,
So sick.
Williamsburg. I mean, it was also COVID, so we were on like
Yeah.
a deal. But it was easy. And then after that first year, we were like, no, we definitely want to keep living together. And so
Yeah.
now it's been 2 years living alone together. But yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. When
so
we moved
special.
like out of like one room and into an apartment, we were like,
You're like, whoa.
that's amazing.
We've made it.
We have so much room.
Okay, so speaking of Grant, he's an actor.
Grant
and he's
is an
like an
actor,
actor in the business, doing the thing right now. How is that?
It's great. I mean, I think that because I have been there and done it, I have such an understanding of things that
Totally.
I feel like I now can see how it can be so challenging to be with someone who's not an actor or doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And like, it's tough because sometimes like he gets an audition last minute and our whole day has to change,
Yeah.
you know, or sometimes like I have to help or like leave work early to go help him, you know, with his readings because if you don't have someone there, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
How are
Like,
you going to do
that's
it?
another
Yeah.
thing where I'm like, it's 2024. Haven't we?
Yeah.
But
literally
like you need a
awful.
reader sometimes, you know, and especially when the agent is like, oh, and we need this by like 5 p.m. tonight, you know, so it's really a demanding
yes.
job. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's, especially because he also works another job, you know, and so it's, yeah, like it's good, I think, to have someone who really gets it. And on the flip side of that, because acting is kind of like entrepreneurship and like you are kind of a freelancer, it's nice that he really understands my job too and really understands that like I also sometimes need to change my whole day on the flip of a dime and put out fires and run around and random deadlines come up, you know. So it's, I feel like we have a good balance, and it's nice that like neither of us are working in the same industry but have an understanding of the other person's industry. You know,
I
That's
love
the
that.
dream.
Yeah.
Literally the dream.
Like, that sounds so healthy.
we try.
I love that. Okay, so just, you know, to talk big picture, because why not? Do you have any, like, large dreams for your time here in New York? Like, do you have any big goals for yourself that you'd love to see accomplished?
Yeah, I definitely want to open a studio. So we just opened, my company Movement and Mindset, we just opened our pop-up studio inside of Arrive, which is where Riley comes and trains with
Love
me.
it.
You have to come by. It's so
I
cute.
do. Will.
Come hang out. So I just opened that. January was my first year, or my first month in there.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that.
Yes, I was at a different
Fresh.
gym downtown earlier or before that, and it's kind of like a co-working space for fitness professionals is how I'd explain it. So the old one that I was at was like just personal training. This one's really cool because it's like personal training, group fitness, Pilates, there's an esthetician, physical therapist. So it's like really all things wellness. But we are in our own private studio, which is really, really nice. And
Obsessed
so
with it.
eventually what I want to do is take over a bigger space. So our space is pretty small. Like we're able to put about 8 people in there at a time. But the goal is to have a space where we can run like personal training, small group training, and large group classes all at the same time. So we're not so,
Love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
so that's the goal.
That's amazing.
Okay, Jane, how would you say your background influences the kind of person you are today?
I think.
Tell us.
Well, growing up in theater, you know, there's like, I think that had such a big impact on my fitness journey and was really like the base for how I view my training today. So in terms of like my ethos, I guess, like, you know, when you grow up as a theater, like everyone's looking at your body.
Yeah,
And
course,
so
yeah.
it's frustrating because it's like you're so judged on how you look because you're trying to play a character. But even when you get the role, everyone's always trying to change your look. And like, even when I was in Florida for my last job, like we had to do weigh-ins, which was, I was like, this is what?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
because I had this costume.
You were a mermaid.
I was a mermaid. So I had this
The mermaid life.
I had this like silicone tail, and I guess they just wanted to make sure that it always fits. It was a really expensive costume. But yeah, and even like knowing now the things that I know, I'm like, that doesn't even matter because your weight could change, but your like body might not change, you know? So it's interesting how dated some things are in the industry. So that for sure. But then as far as like acting and all of that, I feel like it helps so much as a business owner to know how to work on your feet. And I also did improv. That was like a big thing
Obsessed.
when I was in
That's
school. So I did
amazing.
improv all through high school, college, and then actually at the resort we also had an improv troupe. So I did that.
That's awesome.
There.
You're
So
like,
lots of
until I
improv.
had to leave.
until I couldn't do
Yeah.
mermaid anymore. But yeah, so I feel like that just tells you, it gives you a lot of confidence in that like you can work on your feet and you can change things up, and like also people don't really care if you mess up a little bit. Like it's really fine. No one really cares that much. So yeah, I feel like it really helped to shape who I am and how I run my business.
Oh,
Amazing.
I love that.
I know.
So
I feel
much.
like it would be so beneficial, like as somebody who has a personal trainer, to have this like mentality of
Yeah.
acceptance and kind
Yeah.
of no pressure or judgment on how you come in, how your body's changing. Like that just sounds really
And there's
nice.
actually like a lot of people who own like other trainers that I know who take improv classes or have taken like public speaking classes literally
they
just so they can do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just take the pressure off and just you can be stupid in
It's
front of
all
people and
connected.
it's fine.
Yeah, it is
yeah,
all
yeah,
connected.
Because it really just comes back to like confidence and just like showing up and putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Damn.
All right. Last one for this first little section. What would you say makes you not from here?
I am so bad with directions, and you would think that like uptown, downtown would be really easy. And for my first like 6 months here, it was really, really not. I'm still really bad. Like I'm just horrible with directions. If somebody tells me where to go, I need to still put it in my phone.
Yeah.
That's fair. You're walking down the
Yeah.
street and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm still like that.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm pretty good until the numbers go away. And then,
Oh.
and then it's really tough.
Once
yeah.
the numbers are gone, it's
Yeah.
You're like, where am I?
Yeah. So that's, probably the biggest one. And then I think I also just like, I really like quiet.
Yeah.
So I will like sometimes put on my like soundproof headphones and I just put on the soundproofness, but I don't listen to anything.
Anything.
Yep. And I'm just walking down the street like,
You're like, please just be quiet, world.
yeah,
It's always loud
Just
here.
for
a
a
loud
second.
city.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Okay. Moving into our fitness, movement, and mindset section, how do we know you? Well, I can answer this. I actually found movement and mindset on Instagram, and I
okay.
followed like for a bit, I think, before I started, and I like always like it was in the back of my mind. I was like, I definitely want to join this community, but like I don't know, like when I find the time. And then like when coming into 2024, I was like, no, I am prioritizing my health and my body and like really just like focusing on me this year and like my wellness and like just overall like taking care of myself. And then that's when I was like, I'm gonna do this. And then I think like you sent an email and it was like like for small group, like we have openings, like if anyone's interested. And I was like, sign me up. I'm here.
I'm ready.
So yeah, I see Jane twice a week still to this day. And I'm
Riley's
in her
crushing it.
Oh, thank you. I'm in small group training with her. Jane is just such a like badass fitness coach, woman overall, girl boss, like all the things. And like we just wanted to sit down and talk with you about everything you've accomplished overall. And so can you tell us a little bit about movement and mindset?
Yeah, of course. So it was a product of the pandemic.
Love that.
Pandemic, baby.
Yeah, a lot of my clients left the city during the pandemic, and so I was doing some virtual stuff, but not at the capacity that I was prior to the pandemic. So I had a lot of time on my hands, and anyone who's an entrepreneur will tell you that that's like the worst thing that could happen, because you're just like, I have to do something. Like I have to do something. And so I was talking with some of my friends and family, and everyone was just really struggling to work out, because a lot of them were really into like group fitness or even going to the gym. Like they just didn't know how to work out at home.
Yeah.
And so also everybody was depressed because pandemic.
Of course.
Yep.
Right. So I wrote an ebook called Movement and Mindset.
Wow.
And
Oh my God.
it was
I'm learning so much. I thought I did a deep dive. Not deep enough.
I mean, this was a long time ago, and I don't sell it anymore. But it started as an ebook. It was like a 2 to 4 week flexible program that was workouts along with mantras and journal questions.
Wow.
So kind of like a more therapeutic way to work out. Then when everything reopened, I was still at Equinox at this time. So when everything reopened, I like had to get permission to work at Equinox and run my own business, because you're not really allowed to do that.
Okay.
And so then I kind of started like working a little bit on my own, but it's really tough when you're working for 2 places.
Yeah.
Especially because most gyms will have a non-compete. So as I started kind of gaining momentum, there came a point where I was like, I either need to quit doing this or I need to make the jump and do this full time. So in April of 2021, quit Equinox and took on Movement and Mindset full time. At this point, I was just doing one-on-one training. And then, slowly over time, we really started to gain some momentum. And so then I started doing small group training because a friend of mine was doing it, and she was like, it's so great because it's like group fitness, but you have more of the intention that you put into personal training.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that, and that's just been growing and growing and growing. And that's whenever we open the studio, what I see as our like bread and butter is the small group training, because I think it's like such a good balance between personal training. Like you get the one-on-one attention, you get a more personalized program, which is what you're paying for with personal training, but it's a little bit cheaper, more cost effective for most people, especially like I like training people that are around my age,
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more cost effective, and it's fun because you have other people to talk to.
It's like a little community. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so nice. And so we try to make the groups, like we're very intentional about how we make the groups similar, like fitness levels. We try to put people who we think would be friends together. So it's fun. And like sometimes like people start hanging out outside of class, and I'm like,
You're like, yes.
You're like, I'm a matchmaker.
literally.
love
So
it.
that kind of took off, worked at the other gym that I was at, and then we just moved into Arrive Wellness. So we made our pop-up studio in January.
Wow. That is amazing, Jane. Seriously, like I knew
Yeah.
you were a girl boss, but wow, it's amazing to hear you talk about this.
I told you.
So tell us a little bit about your personal fitness journey. You talked a little bit about how acting in the industry impacted you, but tell us about your own journey. Like, how did you grow into this like fitness person and made it a part of your life truly?
Yeah. Well, I grew up dancing. Was like before I even did like singing or acting. That was what I did from like I don't know, maybe I was 2. Really young. And so I danced like my whole life. And then when I started thinking that I wanted to go to college for theater, my older sister also is a singer and an actor, and so she actually also went to ECU for
the family.
Yeah. So she was kind of giving me like the inside scoop on college auditions, and I was like, okay, tell me all about it, all the things, right?
And did you do the whole college audition process?
Kind of. I needed to stay in state financially, and so I auditioned at like School of the Arts, ECU, and another one, but
You're like,
somewhere
can't
else.
remember.
Doesn't matter. And so, but I wanted to go to ECU because my sister went there, you know. So I was like, I wanted to go here. And so, she basically was like, you know, it's gonna be like intense. You're gonna have to like go through all these things and prepare all these things, whatever. So she was like, I'm actually gonna start like working out this summer if we wanna like work out together. And so I was like, oh, perfect. I'll like start working out and like get ready for school. And so that's like what started like my interest in fitness was like purely aesthetics. That is the only reason I worked out, was just to look a certain way, because I wanted to show up at college looking like.
Yeah.
So that kind of continued throughout most of my college career. Yeah. Only reason I worked out. And then when I got into like my junior year and I started kind of making that shift away from performing, and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. I was still going to the gym, but that's when I really feel like I started going more just because I needed like the clarity. I kind of needed to like get away from everyone and just like have a little mental break, you know? Yeah. And that just kept going, and it really stuck with me. And I feel like in all of the different seasons of my life post-college, when I was in Florida, when I moved back home, like working out was really the only time that I had to just chill. Yeah. And like turn off my phone, put everything away, and focus on me. Yeah. Yeah, and it like how I looked just wasn't important to me anymore. You know, I was way more focused on how I felt mentally. And when I got my personal training certification, that was something that I wanted to bring to my clients, because I know from my friends and from, you know, everyone that I've talked to that aesthetics are a huge reason that people get into fitness, you know? And especially women's fitness marketing is very weight loss focused.
Yeah, totally.
And there's so many other benefits to working out, like obviously like mental clarity, like I've talked about, but also like bone density. You'll live longer. And just like being able to live life without pain. I feel like a lot of people think that like when they turn 30 their knees are bad or like their back is bad, and that's not true. That's just a lack of mobility and strength training. And so helping people see that and highlight that is really important, especially women, because I really don't feel like women at any point in our lives get a lot of information on fitness. I think that, I don't know, did you guys hear that like TikTok, Instagram sound that went around for a while? That was to a couple of guys on a podcast, they were talking about pull-ups, and they're like, do you know the average amount of pull-ups a woman can do? And everyone's like, 2, whatever, and he's like, 0. And then they all start laughing.
Shut the fuck up.
And it's not that like girls can't do pull-ups. It's that like men start doing them from like, I don't know, age 8. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we're just never taught to do that. And like, one of my friends in high school, she was on the soccer team in high school, like a really good soccer team, and they went to weight training twice a week, and she said they never lifted weights.
What? I'm sorry. Weight training, but no weights.
Yeah, exactly. And so
it makes sense.
Yeah, and so it's really frustrating. And when you kind of zoom out, it's insane, actually. Just like how the patriarchy works in women's fitness, because I really do believe that it stems from that, and it really is just like a very misogynistic, and I don't think people always like mean it to be, and it's just kind of culturally accepted.
100%.
But women can be strong.
Yeah.
And women can work out, and women can do all of these things, but they're not told that they should be or that they can. Yeah. And so they end up not doing that. And it just sucks. Like, it's one of those things that just really frustrates me, and I want to break through that and just help women see all the benefits of fitness beyond just what you look like.
Yeah.
And especially beyond just losing weight.
Yeah, of course.
I was going to say, too, like, it does, like, I 100% agree with you that it's a societal issue. From a very young age, we're taught that working out is solely for the purpose of losing weight. So even when women, like you said, like you get really into it in college, similarly, I was only working out to try and lose weight, right? Then you get told that it's okay to like lift weights and do things that make you stronger. But like women have such a hard time getting into that, because they're like, I'm putting on weight, I'm putting on muscle.
And like the idea of getting bulky.
Like, I don't want to be bulky. I don't want to be too strong.
Yeah. And you know what? And I always, because I think like probably every third person I talk to says something about like bulky, right? Especially right now. I feel like that's such a hot topic. And I always say, for anyone listening, like working out and accidentally getting bulky is like getting your driver's license and accidentally becoming a NASCAR driver. It just doesn't happen. Like if you think that people, like if you want to be a bodybuilder, you can do that through weightlifting. You can bulk up and gain a lot of muscle through weightlifting. But it takes a lot of intention. And I think that women are scared, from what they've been told to strength train. And they also sometimes think that like gaining that little bit of muscle is bulking. Yeah. And it's not, And so it's kind of like a warped view on it, but it also is something that means something different to everyone.
Okay, so talking about resetting your mindset and how you work with your clients, what are some mantras or phrases? I mean, you just told us one that I will never forget.
Yeah, I'm like,
But what are some other ones or phrases, mantras that have shifted your journey and your
I love
perspective?
this question. I think one of the biggest ones, and this is more like me as someone who works out, I always say to myself, and especially I've just started running, which has been my own personal journey.
Run club.
Run club, coming out this on Friday. So, I just started that. And cardio's not my favorite, but it's really good for your heart, so I'm trying to do it. And so I always tell myself, like, when it gets hard, I'm like, you can rest, but you cannot quit. That's like always what I tell myself. Like, if you need to take a break, that's fine, but you are not giving up. So that's one's for, I think, like, actively working out. And then the other one that's really, this is new in my life. Grant actually told me this. And I was like, whoa, that really has changed my perspective on a lot. Is, you know, like, working out's hard, and it's not always easy to get started in it. And it's easy to complain about, you know, to be like, oh, I have to go squat today. And so I forget what I was complaining about. It could have been anything. Yeah. And Grant was like, no, you get to do that today. And I was like, total mindset shift. So now, like, that's been something that I've been saying to myself and my clients, you know, whenever they're just like, oh, this is so hard today. I'm like, yeah, but you get to work out today.
Yeah.
You get to get out of bed today and come to a gym, and you get to work with a coach, and you get to do all of these things, because a lot of people don't get to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So it just kind of it makes you realize how lucky we all are.
Yeah.
You know?
It is such a privilege to be able to move your body and have that community. And I am so beyond grateful to join the movement and mindset community. I am literally obsessed. I have to leave for the summer, and it's
very sad.
No, I'm very emotional about it.
She's pissed.
Me and Jane talked about it, and I was like, I'm really sad, but like I have to.
No,
but I
you
will
just
be
being
back.
like, just quit your job.
Yeah, you're like, just quit.
Come on.
Duh, I will be back.
You're like, don't forget me.
Don't forget.
Don't forget.
Fall comes, I'm back.
I have your name written down.
No, but even like, I don't work out with you, but it like makes me really want to support your business and you, because I mean,
should. Me and
it's
Kiki
just
go.
such an empowering thing to hear women trying to honestly, like, just help other women and change their perspective and change the negative and horrible things that we've been taught from a very young age.
And it's shocking. Fitness is like very male led. I don't think I have ever taken a certification led by a woman, which is insane.
Insane. Yeah.
So like, it's a very male dominated industry, and the things that men have said to me about my business makes me realize how important it is. Like, I've been told before, this was the craziest one. I've been told before that I was really smart to target women because they're really easy to sell to.
I'm sorry, what?
And that's like one of the like endless things that people have said to me. And so it is crazy being in the industry and seeing like so many different businesses, so many different gyms, so many different styles of working out, how hard it is to find a place where women can just feel comfortable and safe strength training.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm glad that those comments empower you to keep your business and to keep growing it, rather than, you know, hiding and just running away from
Like,
it.
it's exactly why we need
It is important.
something
It's
like
why
that.
we need what you've created.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you.
So thank you. And to any of you girlies out there listening, please check her out. Like,
Come hang out.
what a girl boss. What a great.
No, it's the highlight of my week.
Like
I
mentor
look forward to it so much. Even though I'm not a morning person, it has like made me a morning, and Jane knows. But it has made me.
I'm pretty sure like the first week you were like, it's crazy that I'm up right now.
Yeah, I know. Like, I don't work till 2 p.m. So I would sleep, and Isa doesn't work till 4. Like,
I'm like her. Don't. No, but all of a sudden Riley would be like, yeah, you know, we went out last night and I'm so hungover, but there's something about Jane's class that makes me get up in the morning and show up and go, and I always feel better after.
always, even with my worst hangover, I'm there.
No, she's always there.
She is always there.
Always a few minutes late. Always a few minutes late, but there.
There. I want to be selfish.
No, be selfish. I
And
know exactly
we've got just a little time left, and for those of you who are book girlies or book
Oh my God.
guilies,
Kylie.
guilies, So I have found out through Riley that Jane is a Sarah J. Maas fan.
Big
For those
Sarah
of
J.
you
Maas
who
fan.
are like, who's Sarah J. Maas? Who is that? A guitar,
Grow up.
Court of Thorns and Roses, figure it out by now. Throne of Glass, Crescent City, right? So I've been
so excited.
I've been reading Throne of Glass, and I actually last night just finished Heir of Fire.
Okay. I loved Heir of Fire and
Okay.
the end of Heir of Fire. I really,
Thank
because I
you.
feel like there is that's when,
Turning point.
yes, it's kind of, so if you guys haven't read Throne of Glass, it's 8 books. And I know that that's really daunting. Have you read it?
I haven't started. It's on my shelf.
Okay,
I bought it.
All of them?
Yeah, I bought them all
Wow.
because I know
She's committed.
Yeah, okay.
hardcover. I know I want to read them. I know I'm insane because I didn't have
You will love
hardcover
it.
of ACOTAR and I regret it. And I was like,
See,
I know I'm gonna want
I'm
hard.
a paperback girl. I want to fold them.
I wanna
Yeah.
break that in.
Yeah.
No, I've been telling Riley for a little bit now, but Selena, I won't get too into it. Don't want to spoil anything. But Selena, the protagonist of this book series, the main character, she's a female protagonist, love. And her journey, her arc is just absolutely insane. And it's crazy when you read a book and you're like, wow, like that character has changed my own perspective. Because you read what she's going through and it's like, sometimes I understand her so deeply. Other times I want to yell at her and be like, you're better than this. Like, you can get up. And it's like, why don't you talk to yourself that way? Like, why don't you empathize with yourself? Why don't you give yourself more grace? And then why don't you also kind of like light a fire under your ass and be like, you can do better. Like, you can be more kind
And
of,
what
right?
I love about Sarah J. Maas and like the Throne of Glass series is as you get to the end, she wraps everything up. Every choice that she makes, every like time that you're like, oh my God, why would you act that way?
Makes sense.
She explains everything. Everything. I have a Throne of Glass tattoo. Like, I love Throne
What do you
of Glass.
have?
What is it?
I don't think you've gotten there yet, but there's a sword
Okay.
that she finds, I think, in like, it might be in the last book,
last book.
honestly,
Okay.
or the second to last book. But she finds this sword. And so me and my best friend got this sword tattooed on us.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I also have to out Riley a little bit because she told me that she told Jane that I was hating Heir of Fire.
You were.
But I will say
For, like,
it's
2 months
slow.
straight, you
But then
hated
at
it.
the, you get to the end and there's that little like, and then you're just like, ugh.
I wasn't hating it. I feel horrible saying that I was hating a Sarah J. Maas book because like
You were struggling to get through
I
it.
was struggling. And what I'll say is like the other 3. So I read Assassin's Blade first.
Oh.
Crazy. I know some of you out there might
Okay,
hate
wait,
that
I
about
want
me.
to know if you liked reading Assassin's Blade first, because I read
I
it
did.
4th.
Okay. I really did.
Yeah.
It built her story for me. Whereas when I tried to read Throne of Glass first, I was like, where are you? Why do I care about what's going on? It was just, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I went back, tried to read Assassin's Blade, and got very into it. And
Gotcha.
then now I feel like there's been so much building on that, on like the prequel, that now I'm hooked. Like, no
Yeah.
matter, even if I hated Heir of Fire, which I did. But even if I had like completely hated it, like I still want to keep going because I just
Yeah.
need to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I hate her novellas. Like I hate when there's a different story every chapter. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's just not my style of reading.
Yeah.
And so it's the same reason like I can't watch a sitcom like 30-minute episodes where there's a different story every time. Like I just can't get into it.
You're like, I need a through line.
Yeah, so I kind of like that, which I feel like is a more unpopular opinion. I feel like everyone is like, you have to read Assassin's Blade first, but I read it 3rd or 4th, and
So you read it after Heir of Fire?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. But I think that if I had read it first, I don't think I would have
liked
read
it.
it. Yeah, I don't think
So
I would have
did
finished
you-
the series.
Did it have like a really emotional impact? Or
Or
was it just like, eh?
I wouldn't say that I like loved the
it.
book.
Okay.
I definitely think like, the stuff with Sam.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Was definitely like, oh, okay.
Oh,
Now I
yeah.
feel the weight of it.
Yeah.
But
See,
yeah.
for me, I was like, I knew that it was a novella, and so I was like, okay, wait, no, I can't spoil that. Never mind. You guys just read Throne of
Read the
Glass,
book,
please.
read the book.
I'm like,
It's so
don't,
good.
please.
I know I
and,
can't.
And for future you, do the tandem read.
I'm already going to.
Amazing. And then everyone's gonna tell you that Crescent City is like hard to get into and really difficult to read and all this stuff. It's amazing.
I can't
She's
wait.
on the last book.
I just started. I know that my Sarah J. Maas journey is over.
The 3rd, but
don't
on
know what to
April Fool's Day, someone posted something on Facebook. I should have
no,
known.
I
Why
know
am
exactly.
on Facebook?
I saw it too.
And it was like, a Court of Something and Something, new Sarah J. Maas book, like,
And it was like a
book
cover,
6.
and like, no, I
Oh
saw the,
my
and it was green,
God.
And
right?
first, yes,
Yeah,
and
I
for a
saw
second
the
I was
exact
like,
one.
and then I was like, it's fake.
April Fool's, yeah.
It's a joke, and that's fucked up because
That-
I was like,
why
there's
would
a
you do
new
that?
one.
I am interested, like, I guess you guys haven't read it, but for anyone else that's read it, I am interested to see how they're going to continue the story after this, because I'm kind of like,
Crescent City, you mean?
yeah, I'm like, what?
So there's more coming?
I don't know. Well, I think I don't know. I think, and I could be wrong, that she is supposed to do like 2 more ACOTAR, 2 or 3 more Crescent City, and then there's a new series coming out. Yeah.
No.
However, I do think that Throne of Glass would be an amazing TV show, because it's
I think
kind of.
so,
Did you
too.
watch Game of Thrones?
No, but I feel like I,
But you know,
I know the
you
vibe. I know
It's
the
like
vibe.
Game
yeah.
of Thrones through the female gaze.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
No.
need to. I'm gonna start.
When you read her, like, she will become your favorite. She's my favorite female character I've ever read, and I
you met-
loved ACOTAR.
I don't think you've met Manon yet, have you?
No, I have. That's part of the reason. Okay.
I love her.
I love her, but every time I would be reading Throne of Glass and it would be like, so much shit is happening, and then it's like, Manon and her people, and I'm like, what? Why did you start
It does
talking
break
about
it
her
up.
now?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you just got to such a good place with Selena, and now I have to like,
She does that a lot in Crescent City, where it's like there's a bunch of different characters, and so she'll get like literally cliffhanger. Anyway, now let's talk about this person that you haven't heard about in a
And
long
you're like,
time. And
I
I'm like,
literally don't care.
and I'm such a like, I'll literally be like, okay,
You-
how
she
many
skips.
chapters
She
do I have
skips.
until I get to that storyline again? I'm so bad at that.
Oh my God.
You love to peek.
I'm almost done. Well, I'm like already 100 pages into this last one.
How is
and
it? How are you feeling?
It's really good, but I really feel like when I'm done, I kind of want to like start over.
Reread?
Yeah.
From ACOTAR.
So I've seen this girl on TikTok. She says the proper way to read all of this is Court of Thorns and Roses, Court of Mist and Fury, Court of Wings and Ruin. Stop. Then all of Throne of Glass.
No.
Jump to Court of, what is it? Frost and Starlight.
Yeah. And
Silver
then
Flames. Then Crescent City.
You do have to read ACOTAR before you read Crescent City,
Okay.
because there's a theory in the Sarah J. Maas universe that all the worlds are happening at the same time. Whole culture, basically.
Oh,
you know, and so
totally.
if you're not into like the world building part, ACOTAR is definitely the most easy read.
Okay, I will ask.
Throne
Were
of
you
Glass is a little
always like a fantasy girly, or was this like your
Yeah.
Okay.
I grew up in like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Like that is like definitely always been my thing. But I haven't been, honestly, before ACOTAR, I was on like a romance novel kick, like a Colleen Hoover kind of kick.
Oh,
It happens to us all.
She gets
Canon
all of us.
event.
Yeah, so then I was like into that, and then now I have like this, and then I'm reading Fourth Wing, and then I'm gonna read
Heard good
Silo.
things.
Have you guys heard of Silo?
No.
Okay, you should watch this show. I'm gonna read it only because I have to know what happens. But it's on Apple TV, and it's
Okay.
like, think like 1984.
Okay.
Like
I'm gonna
kind
write it
of.
down.
It's amazing. It's so good. And
She's like,
did you
got
guys
it.
see Dune?
No.
The first one, but not the
Okay,
second.
you know who the girl who plays his mom, Rebecca?
Yes.
Whatever
I don't know
name
her
is.
last name.
I don't know her name either, but she's the lead in Silo.
Oh.
And it's so
Great actress.
good. Yeah, it's like they're in this like underground silo, and they like don't know why they're there. It's like a whole city.
Oh.
They don't know why they're there.
Oh,
They
I
don't know
would
how
eat this
long they've
up.
been there, and like all this stuff. And so they're
I
all
would eat it up.
Yeah.
everyone is like feels safe in there, but you can say like I want to go outside, and then you're like you defect basically, and so then you are outside, you're on your own, blah blah blah. And it's like everyone dies when they go outside, and when you leave the silo, they have a big video of you leaving, and like people watch you die. But is it real?
What? No.
Have you watched the series?
Yes, I finished
Okay.
season 1. It's only the first season right now, and
Oh, so you're like, I have to read.
It ends on a huge cliffhanger.
No, why am I
I'm gonna
watching
start it.
tonight?
No, I'm like tonight I'm
Yeah,
watching.
it's you'll finish it tonight too. It's so good.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's so
wow.
Wow. Okay, should we wrap?
good. I can see you're talking about this
No,
all
yeah.
day. So yeah.
Whole episode.
I loved that though. It was a very like passionate book talk.
Jane, thank you so much. Sorry, you're just like.
Thank you to Noah Wisniewski, and check out our YouTube channel. This will be posted online for you to watch if you'd like to watch as you listen. Next week, we're going to be talking fashion, our personal styles, and then also our journey with the fashion industry overall.
Ooh.
Tune in.
If you want to keep up with us on social media, our @ is @notfromhere.podcast. That is NOTFROMHERE.PODCAST. And as always, I'm Riley Klauza.
I am Isa Rodriguez,
I'm Jane VanderVoort.
and we are definitely
Not from here.